Welcome to the BOBCAST. March is Women's History Month, a time to highlight the accomplishments and contributions of women to events in history as well as to contemporary society. In the accounting world, women have played an integral part in our accounting industry, yet they have historically been underrepresented in leadership positions within this profession. However, in recent studies, we are seeing a shift that women are starting to move into leadership positions at a faster pace than any other time in history. It has been reported that 39% of partners in public accounting firms in the United States are comprised of women, compared to 23% a few years ago. I am happy to say that at CLH, women represent 50% of the partnership team. We have assembled a panel of 4 leaders at CLH to discuss their experience in the accounting profession. These individuals have been instrumental into developing and building and growing our firm, as well as sharing their skills and talents with various community and civic organizations. So ladies, welcome to the BOBCAST. Let's meet our panelists. First, Linda Hough. Linda has been with CLH for 28 years of her 35-year career in accounting. She was a non-traditional student at a time when that wasn't common. Once she entered the industry, her career included both smaller and regional-sized firms. She became a female partner in the 90s at a time when there were not many female partners in public accounting firms. Her mentorship of other accounting professionals have left a lasting impact, not only on CLH, but on many other professionals in Northwest Indiana. Recognized multiple times for her contributions to the profession and the industry and the community, some of those awards include the Athena Award by the Michigan City Chamber of Commerce, Lester Radke Award by the Dunebrook Organization, which serves disabled adults, and recently was honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award by the Indiana Small Business Development Center. Besides her professional pursuits, Linda is quite a gourmet in the kitchen and enjoys traveling the world as well as relaxing at beachside locations. So I'd like to welcome Linda. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Next of our panelists is Gretchen Kalk-Castro. She has been at CLH for all of her 23 years in this profession. She joined the firm as an intern and is currently a partner at CLH. She has been selected to be involved with the Indiana CPA Society Leadership Council. She named a finalist in 2023 for Influential Women of the Year in Finance by the Northwest Indiana Influential Women's Association. She has contributed to many local nonprofit organizations throughout the years and believes in giving back to your local community. She has also been named an honoree in 2024 to the Northwest Indiana Women on the Rise by the Leadership Institute and Society of Innovators at Purdue University Northwest. Gretchen is not your stereotypical CPA. She loves her trucks, her hot rods, and celebrating life. She is critical to helping to foster and support the firm's vibrant culture and team spirit. Not one to be holed up in her office, she travels every opportunity she has, including traveling Route 66 for her honeymoon, in which, of course, they drove back a classic Camaro. Gretchen focuses most of her time on CLH at A&A. Not just because it's not tax, but also because she has the opportunity to meet with clients, work in a team environment, assist clients with the problem solving, and she also enjoys the process of structuring and creating the financials. So Gretchen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Bob.
Our next panelist is Kylee Fraze Norman. One of the other partners at CLH, has been with the firm for 9 of her 20 years in the accounting profession. She loves all things to do with taxation. enjoys taking on the challenges of remaining fully compliant while also working within the tax code to minimize tax liability for our clients. A master at tax research and the guru at CLH for multi-state taxation issues. She has actively served for years on the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club of LaPorte County. It is an organization that is very close to her heart and one that she deeply believes in their mission. She was named Supporter of the Year during 2022 for her contributions in assisting the Northwest Indiana Influential Women's Association with their organizational goals. During that same year, she was named a finalist for Influential Women of the Year in Finance by the Northwest Indiana Influential Women's Association. During 2024, she has been named an honoree at the Northwest Indiana Women on the Rise by the Leadership Institute and Society of Innovators at Purdue University Northwest. She keeps herself active through fitness pursuits, including hiking, spin class, Peloton workouts, and getting our staff to do planks and push-ups during tax season. She's a nature enthusiast who loves to be at the beach. So Kylee, thank you for joining this BOBCAST.
Thank you, Bob.
All right. Our last but not least panelist is Lynn Duttlinger. Lynn has been part of CLH for 26 years of her 40-year career. Lynn began her accounting career with a Master's of Accounting in Taxation. Actually, I think it was called Master of Accounting in Science at that time, but a concentration in taxation. A degree that was not held by many in the profession at that time, male or female. Some of Lynn's contributions to the industry include writing for the CPA examination review, Problems and Solutions by Gleim and Delaney, and GAAP, a transaction approach. And she hates GAAP now. So that's why I'm trying not to laugh. She also has developed tax questions for the National CPA exam. She is a lifelong learner, consistently expanding her professional knowledge, mainly in the wonderful world of taxation, which has been her focus for most of her career. She loves to garden, a trait she inherited from her mother, and enjoys spending time on the water, primarily in a sailboat. Named 2023's Influential Women of the Year in Business by the Northwest Indiana Influential Women's Association. Lynn, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Bob.
On to our question for our panel discussion. This first question is for all of you. We're going to start with Linda. What motivated you to pursue a career in accounting?
Actually, it started with my mother. My mother was a bookkeeper for most of the time I was growing up. And my first job after high school was a bookkeeper. I was the bookkeeper for the Potawatomi Council of the Boy Scouts of America here in Michigan City. And once a month, the CPA who did the tax work, the 5500s, etc., for the Boy Scouts would come in once a month and look over the books and look at everything I had done. And during that time, I would watch what he was doing, and I thought, I think I can do that too. So that inspired me to go to college. As you mentioned, I was a non-traditional student, and I started college then and got my degree and got my CPA certificate, and the rest is history.
Thank you. Gretchen, what motivated you to pursue a career in accounting?
So I took 2 years in high school, and that was it. I loved it. I taught other people in school how to do it, so I kind of just stuck with it then ever since then, and 23 years later, I'm still here.
Fantastic. Kylee, would you like to go next?
Sure. Yeah, so I started college just in general business. I took an accounting class and I enjoyed it, so that's me too.
Fell in love with accounting then.
I did.
Very good. And Lynn?
Well, I took a little bit different path in that I started out as an agricultural economist for my undergrad degree. I tried getting a job in that very male-oriented business, and needless to say, I didn't get one. and I had taken a accounting class in my 4th year, and I loved it, but I didn't want to do 5 years of that, so that's why I just chose to get my master's in taxation, and I've been happy being an accountant ever since.
Fantastic. Let me just have a follow-up question to that. Lynn, stay with you.
Okay.
Has your perception of accounting changed since you started your career, realizing it was a little bit of a different start?
Very much so. I thought really accounting was all about numbers, that there was just running numbers all day long, and it's so much more than that. It's building relationships with clients and just a tremendous amount more, and much more fun than I realized in different ways.
The relationships that you build are so important and so valuable, and I did not expect that.
Very good. Thank you. Gretchen?
Mine has not. We actually had in college a lot of people come and speak to us about the different kinds of accounting and the different ways you could go. So I've kind of known my path and knew what to expect when I came here. So, and I did my internship here. So.
And help.
Yeah.
Linda?
Absolutely. Since I started out as a bookkeeper, that's what I did, was crunched numbers. Well, then when I got into the accounting field, it's so much more than numbers. Again, I agree with the rest of the panel here. You develop a lot of relationships with your clients. You become a trusted advisor. So you do so much more than crunch numbers.
What do you know now that you wish you knew then, Linda? Let's stay with you for that question.
What do I know now?
That you wish you knew then.
I guess I wished I would have realized the amount of hours you have to put in tax season. I wasn't quite prepared for that, and the first tax season was quite a shock. But I still love it. I do it all over again. Wouldn't change a thing.
Wonderful. Gretchen?
Don't stress over the small things.
That's wonderful. Great advice. How about you, Kylee?
Show myself more grace and know that the hard things and the hard lessons are what help you grow the most.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Lynn, do you have anything to add?
I do. I believe that through my career, I have not done self-care. And as I'm coming to the end of my career, I should have paid much more attention to myself than I did. And it's very hard in this accounting field, as Linda said, with all the hours that we have to put in. So it's making a big commitment.
What are some misconceptions about the accounting field?
Well, I think we're looked at as nerds. And certainly television and social media perceives us that way. But I can assure you, especially here at CLH, that we are anything but nerds here. And Gretchen leads the charge on us having fun and doing things. So we're definitely not nerds. It's not just about numbers. It's about building relationships with individuals, with families, with businesses, and that's been so important in getting to know your clients to better serve them. And that has been just hugely successful for me. I've had families for 40 years, and I'm going into new generations. So it's just a lot more than crunching numbers.
Thank you. Kylee, would you like to add anything on what misconceptions about the accounting field are?
No, just that we're not boring. We're a lot of fun.
That is true. That is true. Gretchen?
Okay, they took all my answers, so I had it's boring, and we're really not number crunchers.
What challenges or obstacles have you faced as a woman in your career?
Stereotypes, gender bias. I started in the field when there weren't many women in the field, and we were viewed as something of an anomaly, not quite up to snuff, and too emotional. And it was quite a thing to get over. It has changed over the years, but It's still there in some instances. It was the biggest thing.
One thing I brought up earlier is, doing an interview and the interviewee is talking to the male coworker. It's just, that you got to talk to me, the perception that he's the boss and we're not, yeah.
Gender bias as well. Not being perceived as intelligent as I am, having to prove myself harder. Also work-life balance. At CLH, I don't see that as an issue here, but in my previous career, I found that I've had to sacrifice a lot for my family.
For your career?
Yes.
Yes. And Lynn?
I agree with absolutely everything that these great women have said, but in addition, I think we as women have a lot of self-doubt about ourselves. We wear a lot of hats, and it's really difficult wearing a lot of hats to be able to do all of it really well. And I recently experienced that. I was asked to go to an Alzheimer's Leaders Community Summit and a national, it was national, and I couldn't figure out why I was being looked at as a leader. I felt like I was a really small fish in a really big pond, but when I got there, I realized it was all about people just like me. And I think that's true of all the hats that we wear. We're just like everybody else. So I just feel that sometimes we have a lot of self-doubt about ourselves, and we are much better than we think we are.
Do any of you have a way that you can, how you overcame those gender biases? And a follow-up to that, did you notice that the gender bias, it didn't matter whether it was male or female that you were talking to, that it was a matter of the position or the question?
I just tried to keep myself out of certain exposures. Would bring a male with me sometimes when I met a client that I knew there could be a potential issue. I didn't put myself in a situation of being by myself when I delivered a tax return to a client's business, or I've done it with home deliveries as well. So I just was very cautious as I've progressed in here as to how I position myself.
This one, what keeps you going?
I love what I do. I really do. I love my clients. I've gotten very close to many of them. And working for a smaller firm, it's also a family environment here. I don't work for a big firm because you would lose that. So it's been real important to me to have family, to have a great boss that has allowed me to be flexible and do what I need to do from an actual family standpoint.
Well, Kylee, do you have anything to add?
I love what I do too, and every day's different. So we're always experiencing different challenges, and it's fun. It is fun, and I do love who I work with too.
Wonderful. Gretchen or Linda, would you like to add anything to their commentary?
I think it's the variety.
Yeah.
In public accounting, you are not doing the same thing every day. You're doing something different every single day. Every single hour, you're doing something different, and you're working on a different client, different businesses, and it's stimulating. It's exciting. It keeps you going. It keeps the blood flowing.
It's not boring.
Not boring. No, not at all.
Thank you all for that. Our next question is dealing about just thinking back in your career, whether there was a memorable experience or a project that highlights the variety within the accounting profession you would like to share. Lynn, would you like to take that one? Or?
Sure. As I thought about this, it reminded me of a client that I have that I've been an integral part with. Not only do I do their tax return, the financial statement, I talk to the bankers, I meet with them. We've tried to explore different ways of helping sometimes a suffering business, do tax planning with adding retirement plans, employee involvement. We've even been involved on helping them with hiring, accounting, and other staff to their firm. So there are so many, excuse me, aspects to this client that it's made it fun and exciting.
Years ago when I was with the larger regional firm, I consulted and was on a project for a new development at the Port of Indiana, and working with some developers out of Wisconsin and another one out of Michigan. And then we did a big presentation to some state officials down in Indianapolis. So it was totally out of my realm of being comfortable, but it was exciting at the same time. So it was a good experience.
Did you have someone that you can think of that helped you at an early stage in your career, and when you were at a crossroads at which way to take your career? And what idea or lesson have you picked up from them that you still find relevant today? So let's start with Kylee on that, please.
I did. I had a mentor first starting out in my career. He was a male, and he believed in me and took me under his wing and showed me how to do public accounting. And every single person at this table, including you, Bob, have mentored me and empowered me and believed in me. Linda actually was the one to hire me. Lynn helped develop me in the tax department. Gretchen, we became partners together, so we helped empower each other. Bob, you believed in me. And I think that's the underlying theme. Everyone believed in me and made me believe in myself.
Well, thank you. And thank you for those sentiments. Gretchen?
Linda was my role model, so she taught me everything she knew and pushed me. Yeah.
Pushed you. Linda?
Yes, I had a couple role models. I had a female and a male, and the female was highly inspirational, and she she taught me one thing that probably going to surprise all of you. You never let them see you cry. And as a woman, we know this profession can force us into some very emotional situations. So if you can't handle it, you go to your office and you shut the door, and after you're all done, you come out and everything's fine again. So you just don't let them see you. You don't let them see a weakness. You can't do that.
Very good. Well, I know, Lynn, we're going to come to you, but I just want to add to the comment on Linda. Linda was my mentor, hiring me coming out of college, and had to put up with that newbie coming right out of school. So, with that, but Lynn, what about
That
you?
just shows you how old I am.
I'm not on camera, so they can't see how old I am. So they're all going to bet I'm
You see
older
the
than
cups.
you here. That's right. Look at the cup. Lynn, you.
I've been very blessed to have two mentors. My first mentor, she started in the 60s when women did not go into accounting. Women were nurses or teachers, secretaries. She decided she was never going to be a partner in a male-dominated firm and started her own firm. She's still working to this day, and I truly admire her for that. She taught me to minimize your weaknesses and work on your strengths. She was the hardest woman working in accounting that I've ever known, and still is. My second mentor was a man, and that's John Craighead, who started this firm. He inspired me to be the best that I could, to never forget the details. That the details were very important, to look at all sides and don't be biased towards anything. So he was a huge mentor, and I attribute him to my success as well.
Was there, and this is for any of you, was there one thing that you picked up from that mentor that you still find relevant today? I presume, Lynn, for you it would have been, don't forget the details.
Right, absolutely.
As you like to remind me on a regular basis. Kylee, how about you?
Linda told me the glass ceiling is not shattered yet, so go shatter that glass ceiling.
Very good. Gretchen, is there anything that pops to your mind?
Everything.
Very good. And Linda, for you?
Well, I had 2 mentors, but John too. John was absolutely critical to my career, and John was one of those guys. I mean, in CLH, I never ever experienced the bias from the male partners here. Never.
Me neither.
No.
At other firms, yeah,
Yes.
but not here. And
Never here.
John is an amazing teacher. I love the way he trains and teaches. He's so into the detail, and he explains why. Mm-hmm. So he's a treasure.
Is there a memorable mentor that you had, or mentorship that you were mentoring experience with someone that you saw something you did that really impacted how they pursued their career?
Absolutely. Well, present company accepted here with Gretchen and Kylee, but our office manager and our HR manager here, Stephanie, I saw Stephanie come to us as a high school student working part-time at the front desk, and she has just come a long way, and I hope that I've helped spur her along a little bit, that she's gone on to get certifications in human resource. She manages all 3 of these offices. Like, I don't know how she juggles it all with 3 small children, and I'm very proud of her. Another one is sitting right behind you, Emily. Emily started out and worked behind the front desk. And I got to be very close to Emily in the beginning. And she left us for a little while. And when she came back, she was even more amazing than she was the first time. She was the first person at the front desk to put together a front desk manual. And she surprised me with that. I don't believe I even asked her to do it. She just saw it needed doing, and she did it. Amazing woman. We have amazing women at this, and men. We have amazing men at this firm.
I think listening and taking people under your wing, and then realizing that you're human and that you're having the same struggles. And when you see that aha moment come with a staff member, it's amazing that you really are a human being and have the same types of issues and struggles. And I've experienced that a number of times with women here at CLH.
I do think that's one of the most impactful ways to mentor, is to share your struggles with other women, and it does empower them. Mm-hmm. It shows them they're not alone.
Right.
And it gives them strength.
I know, Gretchen, you hadn't said nothing, but I know in reality you've mentored a lot of people, because in respect, even for individuals that no longer work for CLH, they show up at your wedding and
Right.
don't tell me they're coming. I'm running around trying to find out names.
So now we have lists that have to go
We
around
have
if there's
lists.
wedding,
But
yes.
Linda, that speaks highly, because you are in touch with so many of our former coworkers, because they really respected the way you shared with them and brought them along. So I'll speak for you on that
Thank
behalf.
you.
She's shy about it,
Yeah.
which is unlike her, but we'll go. Can any one of those stand out, though, that you can think of that maybe...
I mean, a lot of them still call me. I still talk to them, and
Yeah.
they, ask opinions or, send people over here to work or, so they still keep in touch.
Do you feel it's important to have women in leadership roles? And part 2 of that question, in what ways do you see women shaping the future of the accounting profession?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Definitely feel it's important to have women in leadership roles. We need women representation. Mm-hmm. And I think women help shape the future of the accounting profession by encouraging flexible work schedules, encouraging work-life balance. How about you, Lynn?
I just think men and women think differently. Men and women are different in many aspects, and I think it gives balance to a firm when you have both men and female leaderships. I just think it's important for both because they both lend incredible strengths to a firm.
I think, Kylee, you commented about how that with women in leadership and sort of shaping the future is truly the concept of having flexible schedules or additional schedules. Lynn, do you have anything to add to that, how the future can be shaped by women in the profession?
I just think there's a softening that goes on with women in the firm. There's more listening and nurturing, so to speak, which I think is very important to today's society of young professionals.
Very good. Our next question is for Gretchen and Kylee. What do you think is the most significant barrier to female success in their careers?
I think some of it has the perception that women are not qualified or smart enough to do the job. So I do see that sometimes that, that's the first thing they think. Where's your boss? Where's your, and that's where I see sometimes a barrier.
Kylee?
I see a barrier in the caregiving in the home, the caregiver of the family, and that includes children and maybe adult parents. That is normally that burden resides mostly with the woman in the family or the mother. And I believe that until those responsibilities are equally distributed, that it will continue to be a barrier.
How important do you feel it is for women to support each other?
I think it's extremely important. Women can be vulnerable with each other. Kylee and I, even recently, just had, conversations with each other where, you listen, you feel from the heart, you don't judge, and you just help each other along to figure things out. And you can cry with each other, and just be really real and honest with each other without feeling judgment or a man is going to think less of you, because I think a lot of us feel that way.
Right, and I think, yes, showing each other vulnerability is really, that's courageous, that's brave.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when we are vulnerable with each other, not only do I not feel like I'm not alone, but it makes me feel better about myself. And Lynn and I did have a vulnerable moment a couple of nights ago, and I was like, well, I see Lynn as this brilliant, smart woman, and if she has some of those feelings too, then it made me feel like, well, okay, I'm not alone.
Right.
I think it's extremely important for women to support each other in this field. I mean, not taking away anything from a man in this field, because this is an extremely stressful profession. But like Kylee said, throw family responsibilities on it. A man, on one hand, his responsibility is to bring home the bacon, to support the family financially and maybe do odd jobs around the house. A woman's responsibility is to keep that household running, to nurture the children, raise the children, make arrangements that, oh, Bobby's got basketball after school and it's tax season, I've got to find somebody to take him to basketball. Women are natural nurturers, and we empathize, and we can do that with each other, and we understand when a female comes and says, oh my gosh, my kid's done this or my kid's done that, and I've got 25 tax returns sitting on my desk that have to be out by tomorrow morning. So it's a support group that's extremely important.
What advice would you give the next generation of female leaders entering the profession?
I would say early on, find someone in the profession to ask questions to, and maybe find a mentor even early on in college, or even call up a CPA firm and say, hey, I want to talk to somebody and learn what you do. I think that's very important to learn, to have that reach out and get to know people.
Kylee, do you have anything to add to that?
Just to give yourself grace. That's what I tell a lot of the women that work in the firm. give yourself the grace that you would give another person.
So what advice can we give those that are starting to pursue this career?
Volunteer, find organizations you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Intern.
Yeah, reach out. You know, we'll always talk to people. So
Building networks is
Yeah,
critical,
yeah.
even at an early age, right?
yes,
Yes,
Because it isn't to have to always be in the accounting profession you can find support. Would you agree with that?
yes.
It can come from other industries, other professions that all may have similar kind of experiences for that from the woman's perspective. Okay, for Lynn and Kylee, is the accounting profession a great career for women?
A resounding absolutely. It's flexible, especially if you're with a great firm, such as what I've been with. I've been a single mother. I've raised 2 children. I have, despite what they maybe say about me now, I tried to be there for them, and didn't miss things, didn't miss activities. But that just meant I worked later into the day. But it's flexible enough to be a mom, to work part-time. There's always tax season. That was always a great way for me to stay in touch with the business. And I just think it's a great way to have it all.
I agree, and there's lots of potential for growth. You can always grow in the accounting field, and it doesn't have to be taxes. It doesn't have to be A&A.
No.
At CLH, we have a business valuation department. So there are so many different avenues, even in public accounting, that you can go into, or private. Accounting is such a large field. You can really go wherever you want to go with it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That is so true. All of you have been involved with community organizations, serving in various roles. Now, typically with many nonprofit organizations, as soon as they have an accountant on the board, we found our treasurer!
right.
Exciting! So I know you guys have all served that at one time or another, but what other roles have you served in one of the community organizations, nonprofit boards that you sat on, that has also helped you in your career? So we'll start with Linda.
As you said, I always started out as treasurer. That's where they put
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
treasurer.
good choice.
But in 3 of the organizations I volunteered for, I wound up being president or chairperson of the board or chairwoman of the board. Those were basically the only positions I had, whether I was either a treasurer or a chairperson.
Both very critical positions.
Yeah.
Gretchen?
I think I have been president for one, but the committee chair, I've been finance committee, fundraising committee. I've done a lot of those, chairing and getting people together and bringing them and teach them how to do the financials and what we're looking for and how how they can help in reading or giving that information back to the board.
Wonderful. Kylee?
So you were training people.
I was training people.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been a treasurer on
All of them. Yes.
Still am. I have been on the special events committee, so decorations, I do think, yes, it does help you speak in public, talk about financials, to a group of people. And it's awesome to be a part of something that you can help grow, too. Boys and Girls Club, when I first joined the board, we had 1 club and could barely make payroll. Now we have 8 clubs, have a capital campaign to build our own building, and it's just amazing. Mm-hmm. And the people I've met and the impact that we're making, yes, it does help your career, but when you're passionate about it, it's so worth it. And that's another thing, CLH is so supportive of our passions and our not-for-profit passions.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
As I commented earlier, you can tell anytime Kylee starts talking about the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
Very close
She's
to her
passionate.
I love it.
heart. Lynn, what about yourself? I know you've served in various...
Mostly as treasurer, but then for the Alzheimer's organization, I help with education. I've helped with different meetings that have gone on, and I'm a fundraiser a strong fundraiser for that. I also help run a sailing school here in Michigan City, so I deal with the employees, getting all of them taken care of. So even though that's not a treasurer position, I help even mentor them, because although we're a sailing school, we're also very passionate about our instructors and our junior instructors on helping them learn life skills, because they're younger, and they're learning life skills that will hopefully help them down the road.
Yeah, as we said earlier, accounting really provides you so many skill sets to help in so many areas, regardless of whether your title is a treasurer. It's always going to cross over into other areas, because we have that experience of working with our clients. Our next question is for Linda. So Linda, as you served in the community organization roles, how has that helped you develop leadership skills that you use day in and day out?
Well, when you're serving on a board in some of these not-for-profits, you get exposed to a lot of other individuals on that board, and many of those individuals are leaders in their own right, in their own professions. They're bankers, they're lawyers, they're engineers, and if you just sit back on that board, especially when you first join it, and just watch the dynamics and watch the people and watch how they behave and how they handle some adversity and how they handle some problems and some questions, you get a feel for what type of leader they are and what type of leader you may want to be, and pick up the best of what they demonstrate. There's a lot to be learned just sitting back and watching.
Listening, right?
Listening, yeah.
An underrated skill.
Exactly.
Okay, moving on. This one, as we look towards the future of our profession, I know, Lynn, you've been leading on a few of these areas of what's going on. So what do you see on emerging trends in accounting that you find exciting for future professionals and for us?
Well, we recently went to a conference that is put on by our software company, and there was a lot about AI. Well, I'm not super excited about AI, and it's a buzzword, and so, I just kind of thought, okay, whatever. But I went to a session with AI on tax research, and that totally excited me as to how quick and all the different ways that we will be able to glean information in a very short period of time. Now, mind you, when I first started out, there were these ginormous books that everybody saw on the shelves, and we would have to rifle through those. Now I've come into the era of the web and how things have changed with research. So for me to go from books to AI research is really exciting for me, and I'm excited to hopefully see that through in my career.
Accounting firms are not just hiring accountants anymore. They're hiring IT degrees and all kinds of things. So, working in with us and doing accounting, so that's something up and coming that, because there's not as many people maybe getting the degree, or looking out for other degrees that can kind of commingle with what we do.
Well, I know when we were chatting earlier, one of you had commented that just the continued evolution of technology is increasing the ability of the time that we can collect information for our clients, compare that to industry data, so we can continue to be more helpful and assist our clients, and they're able to manage their business. And many times, even with the technology, companies, would you agree, look to us to help them figure out how to maximize the utilization of that as it comes to their financial records. Is that a fair statement?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Very good, thank you. Please share how you have balanced a career while managing other aspects of your life.
Well, the first thing, you have to absolutely stay organized. If you're not organized, you're going to fall apart. And prioritize all your tasks. Another one is you have to give yourself a break. Step back and breathe and be kind to yourself. Because you've got a lot of balls to keep in the air as a woman. And you can do it. You can do it, and you've got a lot of people working with you that are there to give you a leg up and help you along. The final thing is that I would advise a woman in this profession, hire a cleaning lady.
Appreciate that. Gretchen.
Well, stay organized was one I actually had written down. So
Well, she was your mentor.
she was. So, but focus on one part of your life at a time.
Very good. Kylee?
Find a career that you're passionate about, because if you do that, yes, it will be hard and it will be work, but it will be worth it. I was able to balance a challenging career and other aspects of my life because I do have a lot of support, and I'm thankful of that. I would also recommend, like Lynn spoke about earlier, is self-care. I know I'm an exercise fanatic, but I do use that to deal with my stress, and it does help with my stress levels, and it makes me feel better, and I'm able to be more productive if I get a good workout in the morning. So,
Wonderful. Thank you. Lynn?
Well, first of all, we haven't always successfully balanced. That is a misnomer.
and I don't think we ever do.
Yeah.
No.
We always fail
Nobody does.
somewhere.
We
something's
manage
always
chaos.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, and again, like I had said earlier, we're always wearing different hats, and sometimes it's hard to take off a hat when you're at work and you have a child that's calling you on the phone or now texting you on the phone, and it makes it very difficult. Or you have a sick child and you have a big project due. So it's a constant reorganizing. You have to be very, very flexible. And the one thing I would like to say for advice is you are not Superwoman. Sometimes you have to ask for help. And the biggest thing my mom ever told me when I first had my first child was, sometimes they're not going to do it perfect. And that means everybody. They're not going to do it the way you do it, but it's okay. We're not going for perfectionism all the time. That reach out, and it's okay that maybe they didn't put the right shirt on the baby today that you would have, and they dressed like a clown, but that's okay. You have to let things really just ride off your shoulders and realize the importance of things.
I think you guys all answered my final question as well in that one. Now, was any additional advice you would like to have for maintaining a fulfilling career and a personal life, besides what you've already commented on?
I always have a vacation planned.
That is so true.
She's mentored me in that as well.
Yeah.
Yes. I
And
know.
she got all that from Linda. So.
See?
Right.
See, it's trickling down. And
Trying to teach people.
and I know if Gretchen's having a stressful day, I'll be like, hey, you want to plan a vacation? Sure.
Even if it's not hers.
No, I'll be like, hey,
Right.
Gretchen,
Oh, wait,
I want to go
anybody's
here. What do you
vacation.
think I should do? Oh, I got
like,
you.
here's our
Kylie.
Yeah, because chances are you've already been there.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Very
She's
good.
a good planner.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh
my
my
gosh.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's an excellent planner.
Yep.
Some great vacations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, at that. All right. Well, I just want to thank all of you for giving us this hour and a half that we spent together to converse and just talk about topics and the women, your perspective of being in this accounting profession, especially in the public profession, and how the impact that is on women. We're hopeful that while March is Women's History Month, we'll be able to take this and share this with young students that are looking to come into the accounting profession, to understand that it can be a great career, even though there are both pros and cons to it. So I want to thank you all for that. And I know that your leadership at CLH has been critical to get us to the point that we are. And without all of you, we would not be where we are today to even be having this interview or this panel discussion. So I know that we're all looking forward to see what the next generation of staff we have here continue to evolve and move up, and to continue the initiative that you guys have started. So thanks again, and thank you for joining us on today's BOBCAST. I think that's supposed to go.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Bob.
Bob.